I'm not a lawyer, but there is a brand new Diddy lawsuit. And this one, y'all. First of all, let's start with the trigger warning that is listed on the front page of the lawsuit. It says that this document contains highly graphic information of a nature, including SA. Additionally, there are graphic images of the aftermath of a situation, redacted images of intercourse, redacted images of minors, workers, more workers, details of trafficking, and the illegal distribution of weapons and some other stuff. Now, listen, I'm definitely not including anything about any minors, anything that's too graphic. I'm not playing those games. But since I did read the lawsuit, let me attempt to give you a recap of some of what's being alleged. The lawsuit was filed by a man named Rodney Jones, who, according to the suit, is a musical prodigy. He says in August 2022, he received a call from Diddy requesting that he produce several songs on the Love album. Rodney agreed, and according to him, his life has been detrimentally impacted ever since. As far as defendants, there are a number of them. There's Diddy, his son Justin Combs, the CEO of Universal Music Group, the CEO of Motown Records, which is the parent company of Love Records. There's a woman named Christina, who is the chief of staff to Diddy. There's Motown Records, Universal Music Group, Love Records, and some others. So there's a lot of defendants. Y'all gonna be sick of me, but another disclaimer. These are allegations. I am not saying they are true. I am not saying they are not true. I am simply telling you what Rodney Jones, the plaintiff in this lawsuit, is alleging happened. This is his version of events. Y'all got it? Here we go. The suit says that Rodney worked for Diddy from September 2022 to November 2023. It starts with an incident that happened on September 12th, 2022 at a recording studio. The suit says that there was a writers and producers camp at the studio, and on this specific day, Diddy, Christian Combs, and a third man named G were in a heated conversation. The conversation moves to a bathroom, and according to Rodney in this lawsuit, a firearm is discharged multiple times. A crowd that's at the studio gathers around the bathroom, and when the door finally opens, father and son exit the bathroom, and G remains on the floor in the fetal position, holding his stomach. Rodney says the crowd around just stood there, not giving any help, and so he tries to apply pressure for G and then asks someone to call the ambulance. The suit alleges that Diddy gave strict instructions to inform the police that he had nothing to do with this incident, and instead say that G was struck standing outside of the studio by a drive-by assailant. The lawsuit also includes several news articles regarding the incident, and Rodney says he has several witnesses to corroborate the story and will speak publicly if subpoenaed. It's also worth noting that according to TMZ, LAPD did investigate this incident and found that G was shot during a robbery outside of the studio and ended up just running into the studio after he was shot. In this lawsuit, Rodney says he still has clothes from that day and believes that they still may have stains and DNA from G. The lawsuit also includes pictures of the aftermath that are much too graphic for this video, but they are in the lawsuit. Rodney goes on to say that he lived with Diddy for months at a time, and while they lived together, Rodney alleges that he was the victim of constant, unsolicited, and unauthorized touching by Diddy. Rodney says he is a heterosexual Christian man, and after expressing his discomfort to Diddy's chief of staff, Christina, she responded, quote, "You know Sean will be Sean." So the next part in the suit involves music producer Stevie J. Rodney says that he looked up and idolized Stevie J, and Diddy used that plus his access to Stevie J to entice Rodney. According to the lawsuit, Rodney says that Diddy shared a video of Stevie J doing some stuff and told Rodney, quote, "This is normal practice in the music industry. Look, even Stevie J is doing it." There are pictures included of what the suit alleges Stevie J is doing. And the suit goes on to say that Diddy told Rodney that he himself, Diddy, had engaged in a situation with a rapper, redacted, a singer, redacted, and Stevie J. The next situation detailed in the lawsuit is from Thanksgiving 2022. It alleges that Young Miami and her female cousins were at Diddy's Miami house, and while there, Rodney was in the bathroom, and Miami's cousin comes into the bathroom and essays Rodney, according to this lawsuit. While living with Diddy, Rodney also says that he was transported from California to New York, Florida, and the Virgin Islands, and during that time, he says he was forced to solicit work. He alleges that on or about February 2nd, 2023, he believes that Diddy gave him something. Rodney says he recalls waking up naked, dizzy, and confused, and in bed with some workers and Diddy. Rodney goes on to say that on or about February 4th, 2023, Diddy allegedly forced Rodney to bring people back to his Miami, Florida home. Rodney includes some pictures from that day and says he has some video that he can provide to the court. In this suit, Rodney says that Diddy used his power and influence to intimidate and force Rodney into soliciting and sleeping with women. He includes the phone number of a worker that he says Diddy required him to solicit and perform acts with at his home. Rodney claims that Diddy used many tactics to maintain dominion and control over him, like promising him a Grammy for Producer of the Year for the Love album. Rodney says Diddy offered him $250,000 to purchase all of the instruments that he wanted. He says that Diddy promised him ownership of his $20 million property, One Star Island in Florida, and he promised him access to record label executives. But Rodney goes on to say that sometimes Diddy would switch it up. He would go from promising Rodney the world to threatening him with physical harm, including threatening him to eat his face, allegedly. The suit then details a listening party from July 2nd, 2023, in which an R&B artist, that's redacted, Justin Combs, some workers, and some folks who shouldn't have been there were all there. Rodney alleges that the listening party event began at 7 p.m. and upon information and belief, he says the alcohol was laced. Then Cuba Gooding Jr. is mentioned. The suit says that Diddy introduced Rodney to Cuba on a yacht and then left them alone. Rodney alleges that there was some unwanted touching, groping, and fondling, and he includes a screenshot from the day of the encounter. Lastly, Rodney claims that he was not compensated for his time living with Diddy or the songs that he produced. Rodney says he attempted to work with Diddy to secure his publishing and royalty rights for the work he completed on the album, but Diddy only offered him $29,000 for 13 months, thousands of hours of work, and 9 songs that ultimately made it to the album. The suit says, quote, Mr. Jones was willing to take $50,000 for his publishing and royalties, but Diddy's self-serving greed would not allow him to pay Rodney the additional $21,000 that he was asking. In this lawsuit, Rodney says that Diddy's chief of staff, Christina, is to Diddy what Ghislaine Maxwell was to Jeffrey Epstein. He goes so far as to say that the whole operation is a RICO enterprise. Ciao! Okay, I've recapped enough. Y'all get the point. According to TMZ, Diddy's attorney says that, quote, Lil Rod is nothing more than a liar who filed a $30 million lawsuit shamelessly looking for an undeserved payday. His reckless name-dropping about events that are pure fiction and simply did not happen is nothing more than a transparent attempt to garner headlines. He adds, quote, we have overwhelming, indisputable proof that his claims are complete lies. Our attempts to share this proof with Mr. Jones's attorney, Tyrone Blackburn, have been ignored, as Mr. Blackburn refuses to return our calls. We will address these outlandish allegations in court and take all appropriate action against those who make them. So again, this is all alleged, and Diddy will have the opportunity to formally respond to all of these allegations. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's not true. But if you want to see the full lawsuit, that includes hints at who the redacted names are, as well as pictures and video, you can join my Patreon because I posted the full lawsuit in there. I'm done.
Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did.